What's up everybody, it's chmod, and we're back again with another video. This time, we're diving deep into the world of Linux, the operating system that's like the Swiss Army knife for hackers. We're talking about the essential commands, the ones you absolutely need to know if you're serious about cybersecurity and ethical hacking. Think of these commands as your keys to unlocking the power of Linux. Whether you're a complete beginner just starting out, or you've already got some experience under your belt, this video is your guide to mastering the command line. We're breaking down 20 of the most crucial Linux commands, explaining what they do, how to use them, and why they're so important for any aspiring hacker. Before we jump into the matrix, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss out on future videos about ethical hacking, cybersecurity, and all things tech. Alright, let's get started. First up, we're starting with pwd, which stands for Print Working Directory. This command is like checking your location on a map, but instead of streets, you're navigating the file system within Linux. Imagine you're exploring a massive library, and you need to tell someone exactly where to find a specific book. That's where pwd comes in. It tells you the exact directory you're currently in, represented as a path. This is super useful because a lot of other commands you use will depend on your current location in the file system. So open up your terminal, type in pwd, and hit enter. You'll see the full path of your current directory, showing you exactly where you are in the Linux environment. It's like having a compass for the command line, making sure you never get lost. Now that you know where you are, it's time to see what's around you. That's where the ls command comes in. Short for list, this command is your go-to for seeing what files and directories are present in your current location. Think of ls as opening a drawer and seeing what's inside. By default, it shows you the contents of your current directory, but you can also use different options to customize the output. For example, LSL gives you a detailed list with permissions, sizes, and modification dates, while LSA reveals hidden files, the ones that start with a dot. Mastering ls is all about understanding its various options and how they can help you quickly find the information you need. It's about efficiently navigating the file system and becoming fluent in the language of Linux. Alright, so you've got your bearings with pwd and you've seen what's around with ls. Now it's time to actually move around and explore different directories. This is where cd, short for change directory, comes into play. Think of cd as teleporting yourself to a different location within the Linux file system. You simply type cd followed by the directory you want to go to. For example, cd documents would take you to the documents directory within your current location. But here's where it gets really cool. You can use relative paths, like cd, to move up one directory, or absolute paths, which start from the root directory, to navigate anywhere in the system. Chapter 4. Find, the Master Locator. Ever lost a file in the vast expanse of your computer? In Linux, you've got a powerful ally, the find command. This one's all about searching for files and directories, and it's incredibly versatile. Imagine you're looking for a specific document, but you can't remember where you saved it. With find, you can search by name, type, size, date modified, and a whole lot more. You can even combine these criteria for laser-focused searches. For example, to find all PDF files in your documents folder, you'd use find documents, name ***pdf. This command tells find to search within the documents directory for any files ending in PDF. Chapter 5. Tree, visualizing the structure. Sometimes you need to see the bigger picture to understand how directories are organized within the file system. That's where tree comes in. This command visually represents the directory structure, starting from your current location, or a specified directory. Think of it like drawing a family tree, but instead of relatives, you're mapping out directories and subdirectories. This can be incredibly helpful when you're working with a complex project with many nested folders. Simply type tree in your terminal, and you'll get a beautiful tree-like structure showing all the directories and subdirectories within your current location. You can use options like L to limit the depth of the tree, or D to show only directories. Chapter 6. Touch, creating from thin air. Need to create a new file? Don't bother opening a text editor. Touch lets you create empty files directly from the command line. It's quick, efficient, and perfect for setting up placeholders or testing scripts. Imagine you're starting a new project and you need a few specific files to get going. Instead of manually creating them one by one, you can use Touch to create them instantly. For example, touchindex.html-style.css-script.js would create 3 empty files named index.html, style.css, and script.js. And here's a bonus tip. If the specified file already exists, Touch will update its last modified timestamp. Chapter 7 CP, the Duplicator. Need to make a copy of a file or directory? The CP command, short for copy, is your go-to tool. It's like having a digital cloning device, allowing you to duplicate files and directories with ease. Let's say you have a configuration file that you want to modify, but you also want to keep a backup of the original. You can use CP to create a copy of the file. For example, cp original.cfg backup.cfg will create a copy of original.cfg named backup.cfg, and it gets even better. CP can also copy entire directories and their contents. You can even use options like ER to copy recursively, meaning it will copy all subdirectories and files within the specified directory. Chapter 8 MV, the Mover and Shaker. Time to rearrange some furniture in your Linux file system. The MV command, short for move, is your tool for moving and renaming files and directories. Think of it as a combination of cut and paste and rename all in one. You can use MV to move files from one directory to another, rename files, or even move entire directory structures. For example, mv report.txt document / would move the report.txt file into the documents directory, and if you want to rename a file, you can use MV for that too. For instance, mv oldname.txt newName.txt would rename the file oldname.txt to newName.txt. Chapter 9. RM, the digital eraser. Time to talk about the command that requires caution. RM, short for remove. This is your digital eraser used to delete files and directories. Now before you go on a deleting spree, remember that RM is permanent. Once you delete something with this command, it's gone from your system's perspective. So double check your commands and use RM responsibly. To delete a file, simply type RM followed by the file name. For example, rm useless.txt would delete the file named useless.txt. If you want to delete a directory and its contents, you can use the ER option for recursive deletion. Need to quickly view the contents of a file? Cat, short for concatenate, is here to help. This command displays the contents of a file directly in your terminal. Think of it as opening a scroll and reading its contents. Cat is super useful for viewing small text files, configuration files, or even just checking the output of a script. For example, to view the contents of a file named notes.txt, you'd use catnotes.txt. The contents of the file will be displayed right there in your terminal. You can also use cat to combine multiple files, but we'll save that for another time. Time to dive into the world of networking, and for that, we need to know our IP address and network interfaces. That's where ifconfig and IP come in. Ifconfig is a classic command that shows you all your network interfaces, their IP addresses, MAC addresses, and other network-related information. It's like looking under the hood of your computer's network settings. IP, on the other hand, is a more modern and versatile tool for managing network settings. It can do everything ifconfig can do and more. You can use it to configure IP addresses, manage routing tables, and much more. Ever wondered if you can reach a specific website or server? That's where ping comes in. This command sends out ICMP echo requests to a target host and measures the time it takes for a response. Think of it as sending a sonar pulse to a ship and waiting for the echo to return. If you get a response, you know the target is reachable. Ping is a great way to quickly check if a server is online or if you have network connectivity. To use ping, simply type ping followed by the domain name or IP address you want to test. For example, pinggoogle.com will send ICMP echo requests to Google's servers. Want to see what network connections are active on your system? Netstat is your network traffic analyzer. It provides a wealth of information about your network connections, including active TCP connections, listening ports, routing tables, and network interface statistics. Think of it as a window into your computer's network activity, showing you who your system is talking to and what ports are being used. This is incredibly useful for troubleshooting network issues, identifying suspicious connections, or just understanding your network traffic. You can customize netstat output with various options. For example, netstat A shows all connections and listening ports, while netstat T filters the output to show only TCP connections. Time to talk about fetching data from the internet. Curl is your go-to command for interacting with web servers and APIs. It's a powerful tool for downloading files, sending data to servers, and testing web applications. Imagine you want to download a file from a website or get some data from an API. With curl, you can do that directly from your terminal. You can even set headers, send post requests, and handle cookies. For example, to download a file from a website, you can use curl o https://example.com/file.zip. This will download the file.zip from the specified URL and save it to your current directory. Need to download files from the web? wget is another powerful command line downloader that's perfect for grabbing files, entire websites, or even recursive downloads of directories. wget is known for its robustness and ability to handle interruptions gracefully. It can resume broken downloads, limit download speeds, and even convert links in HTML files to download entire websites. For a simple download, just use wget followed by the URL. For example, wget https://example.com/image.jp will download the image from the specified URL. You can also use options like EC to resume a broken download or R for recursive downloads. Now let's talk about accessing other systems remotely. SYSH, short for Secure Shell, is your encrypted tunnel to other machines. It allows you to securely connect to remote systems, execute commands, and even transfer files. Think of it as a secure portal that lets you control another computer from your own. You can use SSHA to manage servers, access files on remote machines, or even work on projects collaboratively. To connect to a remote server, you'd use SSH username and hostname, replacing username with your username on the remote machine, and hostname with the IP address or domain name of the server. Time to put on our detective hats and analyze some network traffic. tcpdump is a powerful command line packet analyzer that captures and displays network packets in real time. Think of it as a network eavesdropping tool that lets you see the raw data flowing through your network interface. This is incredibly useful for diagnosing network problems, analyzing network traffic patterns, and even identifying security vulnerabilities. Using tcpdump can get complex, but a simple command like tcpdump, eth0, will capture all traffic on the interface eth0 and display it in your terminal. You can then analyze the output to see what's happening on your network. Let's talk about password cracking, but remember, we're doing this ethically for educational purposes only. John the Ripper is a popular password cracking tool that uses various techniques to crack passwords. Think of it as a lockpick for password-protected files and systems. John can use dictionary attacks, brute force attacks, and other methods to attempt to guess passwords. This is why it's so important to use strong and unique passwords for all your accounts. To use John, you typically provide it with a file containing password hashes. It then uses its arsenal of cracking techniques to try to find the passwords that match those hashes. Moving on to wireless networks, we have aircrack-ng, a suite of tools for testing the security of Wi-Fi networks. It can be used to capture wireless packets, analyze network traffic, and even attempt to crack Wi-Fi passwords. Think of it as a Wi-Fi security audit toolkit that lets you assess the security of your own wireless network or identify potential vulnerabilities in others. Remember, using aircrack-ng on networks you don't have permission to test is illegal and unethical. Aircrack-ng includes various tools for different purposes. For example, aerodump-ng captures wireless packets, while aircrack-ng attempts to crack Wi-Fi passwords using captured handshakes. Last but not least, we have chmod, short for change mode. This command is all about managing file permissions in Linux, controlling who can read, write, and execute files and directories. Think of it as the gatekeeper of your files, determining who has access to what. You can use chmod to grant or revoke permissions for yourself, your group, or other users on the system. Chmod uses a combination of letters and numbers to represent permissions. For example, chmod 755 script.sh would give the owner read, write, and execute permissions, while the group and others would get read and execute permissions. So there you have it. 20 essential Linux commands every aspiring hacker needs to know. We've covered a lot of ground today, from basic navigation to network analysis and security testing. But remember, these commands are just the tip of the iceberg. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and share it with your friends who are also interested in cybersecurity and ethical hacking. And if you're not already subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Keep learning, keep exploring, and as always,